I can remember when I first joined the Army, it wasn't long after I got out of high school, and I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't know if I'd be successful or what would come of it. But I quickly learned after being in the Army for a little while that success was measured by getting promoted, by getting to the next step, and by doing the very best that you could do, and not having any excuses for doing less than your best. And so I began to just put forth my best effort. I got people around me that outranked me, of course, that could teach me and train me and taught me what I needed to know to be successful in the Army. And so I did very well. I was very successful in the Army. I got many awards, some of the highest awards that you can get in peacetime. And you know, I got promoted ahead of my peers at every level, all the way up to the rank of Master Sergeant, which is where I was when I retired. And so success for me was really, for a long time, about achieving that next rank. It was about doing what you have to do to get to that next level, you know, and not only success, but even the measure of significance in an environment like the military is really surrounded by the rank and the level that you're at in a hierarchical organization like that. And so I got to the point in my career where I was almost at the end, and I was a couple of years from having my 20 years in where I could retire, and I was facing that last promotion. I had climbed the ladder, and I was at that last promotion, and it's what I'd worked 20 years for. And so one day, I remember getting an email one day from the Department of the Army, and the email basically said that you're being considered for promotion to the rank of Sergeant Major. And at that time, things had changed a little bit, and there was two buttons on my computer screen, a red button that said decline and a green button that said accept. And I knew that at that point in my career that the Lord was calling me out of the military. And I knew that He was calling me to retire and to just pursue the calling that He had placed on my life. And so I struggled with this decision, because I knew that if I accepted this promotion, or even the consideration of promotion, it would have cost me at least another 5 years in the Army, and I knew that God didn't want me to do that at the time. I knew that He was calling me out. So I had to decline this promotion, and I had to struggle with this, because this is essentially what I had worked 20 years for, to get to the top, and then in the end walk away from it. But I think that I had to come to the realization, and I had to ask myself the question: Is God really enough for me? You know, He's asking me to walk away from what I'd worked 20 years for, essentially, and I had to come to the face to face with that question: is God enough for me to be content with life, for me to have the significance and the meaning in life that I wanted, and to do that, I had to walk away from what I'd worked for 20 years. And so I looked at it as sort of, the only way I can describe it to you is it's like I was in a race. It's like I'm in a marathon, and you're running a marathon, and you get to the very end, and you're about to achieve that goal that you've been working for, that you've been reaching for, and the road forks. And on one hand, the tape is right there, the finish line is right there, and you just have a few more feet. If you go left at the fork, just a few more feet, and you're at the finish line. Or you can take the right, and you can go off into the unknown, rather than finishing the race. And so that was just difficult for me to understand, or difficult for me to grab a hold of. But I realized that God was calling me out, and I had to come face to face with that question: is God enough? And I think as Christians, I think we all at some point have to ask ourselves the question: is God really enough for me to have contentment in my life? Or do I have to have success? Do I have to climb the ladder of success? Do I have to climb the ladder of financial freedom. And there's not anything necessarily wrong with any of that. The question is, am I okay without it? And is God enough in my life without having all of that stuff to really identify me with who I am and bring true contentment to my life?